Alrighty, what is up, everybody? We are back. Light discussion today. Y'all know why we're here. Y'all see the title. Y'all saw the thumbnail already. Y'all already know. But Shy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing A-okay. I'm here to talk about my favorite webtoon. It's gonna be great. So excited.
X and Ash? I agree, man.
I meant Hardcore Leveling Warrior. You know what I meant.
Oh, I thought you meant X and Ash. My bad.
No, you didn't.
I mean, they're both done by the same person, so your favorite, my favorite, put them together, and bam, here we are.
And then we got the third season.
Here we are. So that's what we're here to talk about today, everyone. Just talk about our love for both the series. What do we think about each one? And now that Earth Game, the sequel to the original Hardcore Leveling Warrior, has now released, I'm gonna do a little discussion on that. So, I guess let's just go ahead and get into it. So, I guess let's start with the prequel.
Yeah.
I guess we start with the prequel and then just.
Is X and Ash the prequel?
Yeah. X and
Timeline wise, it's X and Ash, then Hardcore.
Yeah. Then yeah.
Oh, Hardcore Leveling Warrior Season 2 is, I think, called Sleepwalker. And then Earth Game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So X and Ash.
Yeah.
So with your favorite webtoon then.
Oh, well, yeah. So, okay. Now, I've heard you say a couple of things before, but refresh my memory on what do you feel about X and Ash again?
Uh-oh. I think X and Ash is just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was I I think it's really cool when characters I recognize from Hardcore Leveling Warrior appear,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't super care about the new characters. Like I don't have a lot of
Oh
investment
man.
in X or Ash.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mage girl. What's the mage girl's name?
A hero.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure. Like I like the mage girl. Um, I I'm liking X more now in the current arc of him kind of like quote unquote betraying the hero or what is it, chivalry?
Yeah.
I
Betraying
think
the knight
that
and all of that.
yeah, betraying the knight kind of policy I think is already much more interesting than what they've been doing with him before.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, man, is every fight with X so cool.
It is.
Especially with his like phantom thief.
Yeah, that phantom thief ability and how he can steal the stats and stuff of other people.
So cool.
Absolutely broken, by the way.
Oh, 100% broken. How do you defend
broken.
How do you defend against that? I like what is it? Ash has a really cool mystery so far.
Mm-hmm.
But also he's missing right now.
My thing is they gave us a little tidbit of both X's past and Ash's, but Ash still feels like we don't know anything about him.
Well, X, they just like lore dropped it entire.
Yeah,
like
but
here's how he got here.
Yeah, they lore dropped him, but there's still the fact on like who the hell was his mom? Why was his mom so important to the band of thieves? I can't think of her name at the current moment. And of course, you know, they took him in when his mom died and stuff like that. But I'm like, did they just take him in because they felt sorry that, you know, he was going to be just some random kid out in the wilderness by themselves? Because we saw the mom's casket and it was kind of, you know, it was kind of done pretty well, like somebody they respected a lot. So it's still a mystery around X's past as well. And as far as Ash goes, I just don't know shit about this kid. I swear.
He's a slime.
He's slime, and then he turned into like a metallic humanoid thingy in that fight. I have no idea where to go with that.
Something happened. He got a gun. That's fun.
He did get a gun. And then
it's so funny, like healing by just shooting your friend.
Right.
Just like, don't worry, I got you. Shoot.
Yeah, pow.
Bang, bang,
like,
bang.
There you go. So
it's
very interesting. And it looks like X is probably gonna get another power up again, which
he's been getting so many power ups.
It's insane. It looks like he's about to get another one because he has the dragon's heart.
All right.
So I don't know what he's going to do with that. I'm assuming he's gonna use it, and he's probably gonna have dragon powers. I'm guessing. I have no idea. But
man, he's gonna be a dragon shadow phantom thief.
Yeah, that sounds like it could be right.
Did that check out?
Yeah, that sounds absolutely correct. A dragon phantom shadow thief, and
oh my god,
that steals people's abilities and stats and weapons and everything with ease. So very broken.
Oh, you know what? It is very broken. You know what? I'm really a fan of, and I wish they'd do more of is the villain. The villain, like green hair guy.
The green hair guy.
Because he's I might have misinterpreted this, but is he like a regressor character? Because I remember in one of the episodes he fights Like he goes through and into one of like the night things. I don't remember what it is exactly.
Oh,
But
that's who you talking about. Oh,
yeah, he and then one of like the best night or whatever is
yeah,
like, oh, are you like a returnee or aggressor? And I'm like,
yeah,
oh, it's
yeah,
so cool to
great.
have a villain be the regressor
So
because there's so many hero
that is true.
regressors.
So I'm like, that is a good question because I really don't know. Because it was like he was part of the Nightage, and then he kind of just said, "Nah, forget the Nightage. I'm going to do something completely different on the opposite side of the spectrum."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I really don't know. I forgot all about that. But the crazy
I
thing
think
is, like,
yeah,
the best person we have, which is Gray, which is the chief of the Nightage,
yeah,
he pretty much got his ass whooped.
yeah. He got wrecked.
So I'm like, how you supposed to be the strongest person we got, and you getting wrecked? Like, this isn't good. Like, what are we supposed to do with this? You're getting your ass whooped. You're supposed to be the one that's gonna save us in the end. See, I always thought he was gonna have like that real, which it still can't happen. Like this real valiant death. You know, kind of like every other series that has like the chief or the boss of the heroes or whatever.
Yeah.
They die trying to save everybody and stuff. That's what I think is gonna happen. I'm not totally sure. I could be completely wrong on that, but that's how I think he's gonna die. I don't think he's gonna make it to the end. I'll be shocked if
He's
he
not
do.
gonna make it to the end. Yeah, I doubt he'll make it to the end.
I-
What is it? What is you know the fight between Heart Heater and
Which
X
one?
and Ash's
Oh,
teacher.
Ryu.
Yeah, Ryu. That was a really cool fight. And
Yeah, I was like, I was, because when Hard Hitter went into his like dragon mode, I was like, oh, Ryu about
yeah,
to get his ass whooped.
oh my god, I
like,
was so biased because I love Heart Eater.
oh, you wanted
He's
him
like,
to win?
I wanted him to win.
Oh my
I was like,
goodness.
ooh, I know he shouldn't win, but I really want him to win. But that's, I knew it was a good, I think, mix of everything.
Mhm.
I think one of the things I think I'm iffy on is X and Ash has so many ideas going on at once,
Yeah.
and I lose track of them a little bit.
You mean
Like-
just like as far as the plot, or just?
I think the plot itself,
Mhm.
because every character is important,
Yeah.
which means I'm gonna forget about some, and then they come back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't know who this person is.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just gonna roll with it.
In the very last chapter that released, when I saw Caillou and whatchamacallit, I was like, who the hell are these people? Then I saw like a better image on, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot all about these people. And Miu, and I was like, damn, I forgot. Cause it's been a while since we've seen them. Like, we've been focusing on X and Ash for like
Yeah.
a good bit of chapters, so it's just been a while. And then I read too many series on top of that, so then I forget anyway. But
Yeah, it doesn't help that we're
Yeah.
reading what, like Lookism, for example, which has so
Oh.
many characters as well.
Oh yeah, and I just do too many on a weekly basis to even remember. It,
Oh yeah.
Like, if you're not the main character, most likely I'm gonna forget.
Oh
your
yeah, you're getting a
name.
little shafted.
I'm
You're gonna be
forget
like,
your
I'm
name.
not gonna be mad that you exist, but you're gonna slip away a little bit.
Right.
It is so many characters,
It really is.
and I think all of them are important, which means I'm stressing out about who this character is and if they've come up before, because I think that happened before when someone was introduced,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, who is this person? I don't remember this person, and it was like, oh no, this is just a new person.
Yeah, just
I'm
some
like,
random,
oh, thank goodness, I wasn't supposed to remember him yet.
yeah, some random person that we're
Just
probably
some
not-
random guy.
Yeah, yeah. Like when
Um,
they was introducing the people of the who was it? I'm trying to remember the name. It was some weird name. I can't remember. But it was in the latest chapter, and they was, listing all the people names that's in this council or whatever the case. And I was
Yeah.
like, I said in the video, I said, I'm not gonna remember none of these people names because most likely we're not gonna see them again. And if we do, they're probably
Yeah.
gonna die. I don't know, but I got a feeling these people are just not as important that I need to try and remember their names.
Yeah. Like
So,
I don't even know these people.
yeah, but X and Ash is doing really well. Just every time I think I kind of have the story figured out, he throws a curveball, and then I'm like, well, I'm back at square one all over again. And I don't know what's next. I really don't, because I'm assuming it's going to tie into. Well, this is an assumption. I don't know, but do you think he's going to tie X and Ash when it's all said and done into the beginning of hardcore?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see, because it's what, like 1,000 years before.
Yeah, but you could do a time skip at the end.
You could do a casual time skip of 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I think it. I don't think it's gonna connect straight away. Card Heater is really old now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna connect straight away. What I did like was, what is it, King Mu, the guy with multiple arms.
Yeah.
That's I like that he was in Hardcore Leveling Warrior, kind of. It was more the elf girl that loved him, and weren't I don't remember the lore all that much with them specifically, because it was more of just like lore for the game that you didn't have to pay that much attention to.
Yeah, her family pretty much protects him, protects the, I guess, soul possessor of the whatchamacallit and everything. And that's how it really starts. That's really their whole story.
Yeah, but in Hardcore Leveling Warrior, they're like, these two, he's the what, Thorn King or something?
Yeah.
And he's part of this war. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to see.
One day.
I'd like to see
that we never got
if
to
we
see.
Get that. And we never got to see, but I mean, it'd be cool to see it now.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to hope that we learn some of the like the past of Lucid Adventure. Like, why is Heart Heater so indebted to Dark? That's something we never learn.
Yeah.
And like, he just name drops, oh, you helped me in the past. And truly, that's it.
Right. Like,
never again.
How did you help me in the past? I have no idea, but
like, I'd love to learn about that. Like, I feel like this is probably the best time to learn about that kind of thing. Like the I know a while ago, before Hardcore Leveling Warrior ended, I tried to do like a timeline of Hardcore Leveling Warrior.
How did it go?
Poorly. It was 2 videos, it was long, but I remember what I really liked was I split the timeline into, like, here's when the players started coming, here's the beta, and it's hard to do a timeline for Lucid Adventure because it was a video game, and I was like, it's kind of gonna be called the lore era, and someone's like, no, do the written era. I'm like, the written era is so much cooler. So like, I'm really excited to learn about like the lore of Lucid Adventure itself, even though Lucid Adventure kind of no longer exists.
Yeah, well, right? That's what X and Ash is for. That is pretty much Lucid Adventure.
It's learning about Lucid Adventure, which I think it's doing a good job showing the world before the players came.
Yeah.
That like, oh, this world that you thought was for the players, it's actually for, it just existed before you, thousands of years before you. And seeing the little things of like, oh, here's the ego sword that you see from before. Well, people already learned how to use that. Right. Here's all these demons again. That's cool. Here's Heart Heater. Here's the Dragon of Light. Did the Dragon of Light appear?
Yeah, Dragon of Light.
The Dragon of Light appeared. Yeah. I was like, I could have sworn the Dragon of Light has appeared in. The Dragon of Light has appeared. I don't remember though. It was at the end of that fight, right?
You talking about toward the end of Hardcore, or you talking about in X and Ash?
In X and Ash, at the end of the Ryu and Heart Heater fight.
Yeah, it was the end of that fight. That's when it was introduced.
That's when it was introduced. I'm so excited to see the dragons, the dragon, the evil dragon.
Oh yeah, the one that Heart Heater works for.
Yeah, it's not the Dragon of Darkness, because that sounds off. Is it just the evil dragon?
I think that's what they called it, just the evil dragon.
Just the evil dragon.
I'm pretty sure if we're wrong, somebody in the comment section is gonna let us know.
Someone's like, "You're wrong.
Yeah, you're
How dare
horribly
you say
wrong.
that?"
You guys don't read. You don't. You don't
so many
read
videos
anything.
about this.
You're not real fans. You know it's coming.
Not real fans.
Yeah, it'll come. Yeah.
I'm so excited for that kind of thing. It's gonna be great.
Gotta love those. Gotta love those.
Yeah, we love those.
All right, so I guess since X and Ash isn't really finished, and majority of what we're going to be doing is speculating, I guess we can move on to the I guess I don't think we can really call it the current timeline, but more present day, I would assume.
What do you, man? That's what happens when you mess with time.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, so we're in the past and now we're coming more to the future, but we're not present. We're still in the past technically. So I guess hardcore. Now, Now, I didn't tell you this.
You didn't.
I didn't tell you this particular thing I'm about to say. So in my spare time, I have been reading Hardcore Leveling Warrior.
Wow.
Trying to go ahead and finish it up from where I left off a long time ago. And I will say, I was wrong.
Oh, heck yeah.
I was completely wrong.
About what specifically were you wrong?
About how good hardcore was.
Yes.
So
yes, you were. Don't read the second season.
I'm already. Look, people done spoiled the ending for me already because nobody knew another season was coming. So I already know what's about to happen. So, but I'm just reading, just to kind of, put everything together on how it got there. But I know what happens already. But I was wrong. It is a whole lot better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And what I thought it was. It's still not better than X and Ash, but it is very good and it's up there. So I just wanted to tell you that because we both had this kind of little thing like X and Ash is better, no hardcore, and we just been going back and forth. They're really, when you think about it, they're the same fucking thing. But
they truly just are the same series.
Yeah, they're really the same thing. It's just one is the beginning part and this is the latter part. So
this is the middle.
It's really the same goddamn thing. So you'd be like, hey, you want to read hardcore? Start with X and Ash and work your way all the way through so you know all the lore and everything else.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You don't need. I'd say you don't need either one to enjoy the other.
Yeah. But
reading either one makes you enjoy the other more.
That is true.
Because it does. It's less than just like, oh, we referenced that webtoon. Did you catch that? And more just like building off what the other had. Right. Which I think the author does a really good job of not just being like, haha, wink nudge, look what we did. But I love Hardcore Leveling Warrior so much. It's great. Is it perfect? God, no.
Right.
There's so many.
Perfect. No series.
No series is perfect. Like I'll be like, is it the best webtoon? No, I know it's not.
Right.
But like, there's just so. I think it strikes a very specific chord with me with being a video game series and having like a morally gray character and having this like fall from grace kind of trope, and I'm like, these are all great. I love all of these specifically. And then just having like a really smart main character, and because I was thinking about this before because I wanted to read how much was out of Earth Game before so I didn't spoil the fast pass. The gambler class is such a like cool class.
It is.
Like it's basically it's the equivalent of the rogue, but it's used more. It's used as a more original thing than just being like they're a rogue.
Right.
Like no, they steal, but they steal everything. They'll
literally
you.
Everything.
They'll steal. The best part is it's not, oh, they're gonna steal from you and you won't know. They're stealing from you and you know what's being stolen from you.
In your face.
In your face. And 10 minutes ago you thought you'd win 100%.
So is the gambling class based off of X?
Mm,
Because
that's interesting.
that's what I was thinking when I was reading Earth Game, and I was and reading the ending of Hardcore Level War. I was like, I wonder if the gambler class is based off of X, because pretty much he just steals everything, and he's stealing it
Yeah.
because you're doing
Yeah,
it in your
he's
face. So I was like, I wonder if that's just like, as far as the chivalry thing goes, is that class based off of that? What do you think?
Because before, in the before time, in the X and Ash era, there weren't really like classes.
Yeah, there were no
It was
classes. It was just like
here's a melee weapon, here's a magic weapon. Those are your two classes,
Pretty
melee or
much.
magic. There are some people who there's like the mechanic guy, but that's
Tesla,
probably more
yeah.
magic, I assume, than
Yeah.
melee. It is, I think it is possible that these that the events of X and Ash specifically connect to the events of hardcore, or like connect directly inspire things in Hardcore Leveling Warrior, like the classes.
Right.
If anyone was to make a gambler class, it'd probably be X.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it makes the most sense for him to be the gambler, or like the originator of the gambler.
Right.
Because it's less like just stealing and more stealing
Yeah.
stats. I think that's the main difference, is like how much the stats are something very strange to steal, and for that specific thing to be stolen is, oh, that's, these two are connected in that way. It's such a funny thing to steal.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah,
I'm gonna take
those levels you poured your hard time into. I'm just gonna take them.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Just
take
yoink them.
Oh, and that skill
take-
that you took 5 years to learn, get, and master, I'm gonna take that, and you can never use it again.
It's mine.
Like, how that is so fucking broken. Oh my
it's so disrespectful.
So broken. That is horrible. That is such a
so
broken
funny.
ability. It is the fact that he
great.
can take it and you can never use it again is absolutely horrible.
It's the best. Can I? Yeah, you can. I was gonna be like, can you? But I don't believe you can use it again.
No,
use
no, because again. Les Zerka in the beginning, when X stole his ability, he wasn't able to use that ability. Well, it said he wasn't able to use it. Now, of course, as time goes, I guess it can be changed to whether,
you relearn it.
Yeah, relearn it or be able to use it again. But I remember the couple of abilities X stole already. They say you are no longer able to use it. But it never specified, is it just forever or is it just during that battle? So if he does come back and write it to where they can use those skills again, I guess then we'll have our answer. Because it is some things in X and Ash that doesn't really make sense. Like a hero's ability to where she can use her future mana and summon these beings from another dimension. I'm like, okay, so are you telling me she's doing all of this and she's gonna be ass cheeks in the future? Like, she's gonna suck.
Yeah, she's not gonna have.
She's gonna be completely Sakura in the future. Is that what you're telling me?
She's a mage with no magic.
Right. So I'm like, is that what's gonna be a thing? Because they never said it. Like, okay, because you know how every time somebody get an ability, they give the downsides and all of that. But her ability is just, the downside is you just use future mana. How much future mana does she have that she can use? Would she ever get the mana back? Can she get the mana back? Like, it was just too many. That's the only gripe I've had thus far with X and Ash. Is like, this makes no sense. I need more information.
I need more information about the future mana she's using.
Yeah, or at least give her a mana pool or an image of, this is your future mana, and every time you summon somebody, your mana goes down something. Because I'm just assuming she's gonna have infinite mana at the rate she going.
I mean, how do you think, like, this is pure speculation, how do you think that works? Like, is it like we know how old you get?
Yeah,
we're starting from how old you get, and we're working backwards.
right.
So, like, say she lives to 100. Like, okay, at 100, you're not gonna have any mana. At 99, you're not gonna have any mana.
Mm-hmm.
At 98, you're not gonna. Like, is it that?
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea. I have no idea. Like, what if she lives to 20, or does it not even matter as far as how she lives? Is it more her life force? I don't know. I was so confused by that it didn't make any fucking sense. Cause I was like, I wouldn't even. First of all, when I was reading all of the abilities she could have chosen, I'm like, there's no way I'm choosing this one.
No. What are the other ones she could choose?
It was like Dragon Knight or Dragon Mage or something like that, and the other one was like a all elemental or fire mage. I think it was a fire mage. And I was like, yeah, I'm not choosing that dimensional shit because I'm like, I don't even know what that means. That sounds horrible. I'm like, that sounds absolutely horrible. That downside sounds absolutely horrible. And that's the one she chose. And I'm like, I don't see why.
It's like the strongest one here.
It's the if we're going by downsides, that's the worst one. I'd rather be strong and not die or be useless.
I mean,
because like
I think she was about to die there.
but I'm like, maybe, I guess if you're in the current situation, you're not really thinking about the future so much. But I'm like, I'm thinking ahead. I'm like, okay, so if there's a huge battle that takes place in the future, I won't be able to help.
So she has 4 choices. Mm-hmm. I looked it up.
Okay.
The first one is the circulating blessing of fire.
Yeah,
which changes her mana to fire.
Yeah.
So she always has fire at all times.
Right.
Which is interesting. Also says you can support your comrades through various blessings. I don't know what that means.
Right.
I don't know how you buff someone with power.
I don't know.
Then she could also be the queen of fire, which sounds much better. Acquire mastery of all fire magic. So she immediately is just a master of every fire.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good. I'm like, okay.
The red dragon knight.
The
fire wielding red dragon will follow you and be your companion forever. You just have a dragon next to you. I think that's a cool one. I don't think it would have fit her.
I mean, she keeps a companion with her now, so I don't see how it wouldn't have fit. That's perfect.
Got a little baby fire.
Right.
Got a little baby fire. Also dimensions, 2 conditions must be related to fire. You must pay the price with the mana you're going to use in the future. And she's just like, okay, that one.
yeah, that sounds amazing. Like, what? I was like, we need to talk. This is a horrible decision.
I don't know why she didn't choose the queen of fire. I'm
like, the queen or the dragon, that was like the best ones to me.
She just wanted her little familiar back. I think that's why.
But she would have got a familiar if she chose the dragon one. I mean, it wouldn't have been the same familiar, but I'm like,
no,
you're not gonna be useless in the future. Like, okay, so you survived this battle. Then what? How much mana are these? Because that's another thing. They never say how much of her future mana these summons is taking her. It's taken from her.
No, it doesn't.
So that's why I'm like, she can be useless 5 years from now. For all we know. Like, that is horrible. Like, 5 years from now, you could be a bum. You're going to have to start a bakery or something because you're not going to be useful anywhere else.
I wonder if that's going to be like the climax. Like the last battle, the reason she can't help is because she knows her future man already.
That's gonna be horrible. That's gonna be. She would literally be the worst character ever if that happens. Like, you really just made yourself literally the worst character ever created because you are horrible. The most important battle, you decide, oh damn, I done used too much of my future mana. I can't do nothing anymore. Like,
I already used all my future mana.
like
Whoops.
you know how bad that sounds. like that's what you're gonna tell your kids if you're alive long enough to have them. Like, yeah, I used up all my future mana when I was 15 years old, so now I can't do anything. Oh, okay.
So you're useless.
Yeah, so if a demon just comes crashing through the door and kills you, I'm sorry. That's all I can say.
I'm sorry. That's on you guys.
Right, like figure it out. Like, I can't stand that. I can't stand that ability. Oh my god, I rag that ability every chance I get because it's so dumb.
But she's truly like the strongest person currently, isn't she? Like,
is she the strongest or is her familiar the strongest?
Well, it's it's you if it's contracted to follow you.
Yeah, but I mean, well, I would say X. Well, as far as the kids go, I would say X is still the strongest because even though we don't know this yet, but I'm just assuming that he can steal the stats of the familiar as well.
Oh, that's a good point.
So if X is able to do that, I would still put X above. I mean, just stealing stats and abilities, that just puts you up top in the top 3 or top 2 automatically.
Yeah, being able to just take things that do not belong to you,
right,
is wildly more helpful than
just having a strong familiar. Yeah.
Yo.
I'm like, okay, you're stronger than me. Let me take your stuff. Now I'm gonna be close or equal footing to you.
That's true. Yeah, she probably.
Yeah. So I don't know, but that ability sucks so bad. But okay, back to hardcore.
Back to hardcore. I don't know how we got to this part. Back to hardcore.
Yeah, back to hardcore. So
back to hardcore.
How did you feel about the ending of the original series, not Earth Gang, that just came out?
Yeah, so the original series, it's not a spoiler because you need to know it to read the new one.
Right.
It also, I think, just tells you in the new one.
Yeah, it tells you in the new one anyway. So
just he truly resets the world so it didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucid Adventure didn't exist. And then he became like a guild, not a guild leader. Like he's like a leader of an esports team, or a coach of an esports team.
Yeah, it was an esports team. Yeah.
Which is very funny. It's very funny that he's just a coach of an esports team. I think, man, they were setting up the stakes way too high in season 2 for it to go anywhere else. Like, no way it could not go this way, because the world dies at the end of the second season. Like, the main villain is Zero.
Mm-hmm.
She just nukes half the world. And then it's like, well, now what? We gotta rewind time, obviously.
Right. Obviously we failed to stop her, so...
Obviously, yeah, we lost.
Yeah, we got our ass whooped.
Yeah, I think, personally, all of season 2 felt a little rushed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I haven't read in a while. But the idea of season 2 was to find Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they find Ethan pretty quickly. Like, I expected a third season, and the third season was when they found Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
Not halfway through the second one.
Right.
And then Ethan remembered all his memories very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Way too quickly he remembered his memories. I do think the first season is much better than the second, but I do like the second. Mm-hmm. I think the ending was probably the only way these people could have had a happy ending, because I don't see them having a happy ending with Lucid Adventure around.
I mean, I think they could have, but it just depends on who was going to be overseeing Lucid.
That's true. Can we talk about how Yopai just?
Oh, yo, what? How he got his ass whooped? Or which
At
part?
the end of the first, at the end of the first season, he just kills all the gods. And he's
Yeah,
like, everyone gets the power.
like,
I'm like, okay, Yopai,
like
fine.
That's one way to do it.
That's one way to do it.
Right.
And then he becomes evil because of what is it? Because of plagiarism.
Horribly. Talk about a way to go.
Becomes
way to
evil
go.
because his best friend, what is it? The inspiration of
Mhm.
Tak, his best friend, was a plagiarized work that came out. It came out that he was not Tak was plagiarized, but the inspiration for Tak was plagiarized.
Mm-hmm.
So then he's like, what do we do with this guy? And like, kill him off. And he dies off screen.
Right. Be like, well, what else we're gonna do with him? Like,
We can't bring him back. He's a
Pretty much.
plagiarized. His inspiration is plagiarism. So like, kill him off, and then Yopai becomes evil, basically.
yeah.
Because I think I always thought that Lucid Adventure was like both a blessing and a curse for the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's how they found each other. It's how they like started like a good chunk of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like what's holding a lot of them back from being people.
Right.
Like Dark is obsessed with it because it's his grandpa's world, and his grandpa died.
Mm-hmm. Tragic.
It's the only place Sora, actually tragic. It's the only place Sora connects with people. It's the only place Ethan feels like he has power. Like my thought was always, Lucid Adventure was a crutch for them. Was kind of like their fallback. Was always kind of like holding them back from having a good life, or having a life outside of video games.
Right.
But having it like deleted was like, well, no more problems. Everyone go wild.
Yep.
And then they bait you out at the end, believing that Ethan is still like in debt. And it's like, no, he's the leader of an esports team, which is such a funny thing.
Which I guess that's a good segue to Earth Game. Because
it's a good Earth game.
Because like, okay, so reset the world. Now you're the leader of this esports team.
Yeah.
And you're known as one of the best who ever play games and whatnot. And when the powers and stuff come, you suck.
You're trash.
Like you're worse than trash. Like
it literally, I think the second episode starts with him like as a piece of poop.
Yeah.
It's like, this is me. I'm like, yo, that's so funny.
And he had to get pretty much carried through dungeons and stuff. Which I thought was interesting that they chose to kind of do it this way. Like it kind of invaded, the real world per se.
Yeah, it's a reverse isekai now.
Yeah, rather than we're going into the game now. The games, which it makes sense, but it makes sense given how everything transpired. But it's just the fact that now we have dungeons and monsters, and I'm like, I have no idea where this is gonna go.
Yeah, I don't really know either. Like, even with the fast pass, I have no clue what's gonna happen in Earth Game.
Yeah.
But my God, did the author come back swinging? Because those are some of the most beautifully drawn panels.
Oh yeah,
I've ever seen.
Man, the art is so much better.
The art is just immaculate. Like every episode has like one or two panels that like how many hours went into this panel. This shot looks so beautiful.
It looks so good. I was like, man, because reading the original hardcore now and then seeing Earth Game, I'm like, man, it looks like he took more the direction or influence from X and Ash as far as the art style, which personally I love, because I think X and Ash art is beautiful. But
it's great.
It looks like that's kind of what he went along with, because it looks so similar in a lot of areas. So I mean, personally I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I was a little worried that Ethan got his powers back so quickly.
You think so? I think he kind of needed it.
He did kind of need it, but he got it back like episode 2 basically.
Man? Was it episode 2? Those chapters were so damn long. I don't know.
They're
Was it?
so long.
Oh,
But it was
bro.
like at the end of the. Yeah, it was at the end of the second episode
Oh,
where
bro,
he gets.
It took me an hour and 45 minutes to do all of those chapters
Yeah,
in my video.
Man, they're so
my
long.
God. I was
'Cause
on chapter 1, I think, and I was already 30 minutes in. I was like, oh my God, I forgot how long these chapters can be.
It's so long. It's really interesting seeing Arms as a character.
Yeah.
Because she was not a character.
Right.
And she was a flashback character in Hardcore Leveling Warrior. So to see her playing a major role in the series is like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. It's very funny watching Ethan flirt at the very beginning.
Right.
With like, I pulled this rare
is
card.
Is that what we're calling that, flirting? I don't know what.
Because
I don't know what that was.
Sora was immediately like, "Is this how you're trying to riz up the girl?"
Like
the word "riz" was used by Sora, and I laughed a
I was
lot.
like, "Wow, not Riz, anything but that."
Literally, the word "riz" was used. I was like, "Oh boy, it's this kind of episode."
I was like, Sora is only bad if it doesn't work. If it works, that's all that matters. It's the end result here.
I've never seen anyone use a Pokemon sticker to riz up a girl.
I know, right? I was like, no, we gotta do better, man. We gotta do better. But it almost worked though. In his credit, in his defense, it almost worked.
It did almost work.
It almost worked. So he wasn't too far off. He was a little, but he wasn't too far off.
He wasn't too far off. He was very close.
No,
we haven't seen any of Carter or Dark.
No,
yet.
I'm assuming he's gonna come like, well, what's Fast Pass currently? Like what chapter that's currently?
The 9?
Is it 9?
No, is it 11?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't know. Check.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's 11.
11. So I'm assuming we're probably gonna see him probably around maybe 15 to 20. We'll probably see him somewhere between those chapters. I want to guess because I don't think you can go this long without showing like at least the main 3.
Yeah,
that's what I would assume.
Yeah, because Ethan, Sora have appeared. Can we talk about Ethan's new class?
I was just about to ask you that, but since I don't know what the hell it is, all I can ask you, is it cool? Because your class being jobless, I don't really know how I feel about being called a bum. If I was
have you not read the most recent episode?
No. See, I'm doing it every 2 weeks, so I'll skip and then I'll do 2 chapters every video. So I haven't read the latest chapter.
Man, these chapters take you 30 minutes to read, and you're gonna read 2 of them?
Yes, because
man, I need the content.
I know it's the content, but my head's gonna hurt doing that.
It's
gonna be horrible.
I think it's so funny that he spends so long trying to min-max his class. Like, he probably spends hours just sitting there thinking about every single class he could actually be.
That's literally what he did. He was like, do I want to be this? Do I want to be that? Nah, I don't want to be that. What about this? I'm like, first of all, the horrible classes, I wouldn't even thought of. I wouldn't even that. I already know I'm not choosing that. You know, like, what was it? One was
Pop Star, I think.
Yeah, Pop Star, and another one, I want to say it was like a firefighter or a banker or something. It was something stupid, and I'm like,
Merchant.
Yeah, I'm like, you know damn well you're not gonna choose that. Why are you even thinking about it? Like, you're not choosing that. Let's be honest. Everybody who goes into this, those be the very last resorts. Like, I'm not choosing that for nothing. I thought he was gonna go with Dark's class. That's what I originally thought he was
gonna snag Dark's class.
I thought that would have been so funny. So funny if he chose that.
It was really cool just seeing like the different universes where he chose those classes. Like the gambler, you say, yeah, then you see, oh, here's the wizard class, and you see him in this like black armor with magic. He's like, oh yeah, here. What about a weapons master with all these different types of weapons? Or what about like the dark mage, like you said, like oh, with all these skulls. It's really cool. Him being jobless is also very funny.
Is it a cool ability though?
I will spoil that it is a cool ability.
Okay.
I'll stop there because you probably want to see it when it comes out.
I probably will laugh my ass off, but then I'll probably be like, "That is so broken."
it is pretty broken. I think it's a good way of doing a little variety with his character because in my mind, I was like, "There's no way you can not make Ethan a gambler."
Right.
Because like I've cemented so much of his personality with tricking other people, stealing their stuff, and using every ability he wants to.
Right.
Like that's so much of his character, and I'm surprised how much being a bum can encapsulate just a little bit of that in a different direction.
Now this was my guess when they said jobless.
What
now I know you're not gonna tell me because you don't want to spoil.
I won't.
But this was my thought when they said jobless. I'm like, okay, so maybe what the jobless class is that he can pretty much use abilities or become any class he wants to at any given time, depending on what the situation calls for.
Yeah.
So that was my thought on maybe that's what jobless is. You don't have a specific job because you can do every job.
Yeah, like a master of none kind of thing. But
I know you're not gonna tell me if I'm right or not, but
I won't. I won't. I can't spoil it. It's great.
But that was my thoughts on it. I was like, I wonder if that's what that really is.
Man, I'm so heartbroken. I double checked to make sure that what jobless actually was in the most recent free episode, and I was like, it is great. I can spoil it.
Oh.
And then you're like, I haven't read it. I'm like, oh, no.
I really haven't.
Such a cool character.
I wanted to read it, but I was like, just given like the release schedule of my videos, I'm like, I don't have space to do it.
Then you gotta read two at once.
Yeah, cause like I do. So like this week I did. For Wednesday, I did, of course, I'm Sharita, S-Class Hunters, X and Ash, and Teenage Mercenary. Thursdays, I have, set videos for Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we're back again. So, because next Wednesday, which is when Hardcore releases, I already have 4 set videos. I'm doing it Thursday.
Okay.
So, it's going to be a Thursday video. But I was like, yeah, and then when I thought about it, I'm like, it kind of works out because I have X and Ash come out 1 week, and then the next week is Hardcore. So I'm like, it kind of so I'm like, it kind of worked out that way, just flip flopping.
That makes sense. That checks out.
I didn't realize it when I originally set it up that way, but I was like, oh, okay, that works.
Man, so many cool things come out. What is it, Tuesday night, Wednesday?
Yeah, like it seems like they just don't know how to not put stuff on Wednesday.
Man, it's wild.
They put so many series on Wednesday. I'm like, there are other days of the week.
Yo, my Monday's looking pretty empty.
Right. My Tuesdays is pretty much empty. My Saturday's not as heavy because Perfect Hybrid went on break. Sunday's not as heavy because Lone Necromancer went on break. I'm assuming, even though it didn't give a indication that it was going on break. But
I just didn't realize it either. I was like, all right, it did go on break.
I'm like, because normally if a series going on break, it'll be like it'll be back soon or it's on break or whatever. It don't say nothing. It's just there. I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's on break. But yeah, I'm like, there are other days of the week. Like, it could have been on a Tuesday. Like, I would have been fine with Tuesday. I don't really have I only have 2 on Tuesday. I do. Like, it's perfectly fine, but okay.
Please do a different one.
Right.
Different day, please.
Put it on Wednesday along with every other big series.
Do you think it's a problem that it's a reverse isekai?
At first I was like,
I think I rolled my eyes at first.
right. I was like, at first I'm like, okay, we're doing this. I was like, all right, we're going with the honest readers, solo leveling, S-class hunters route. But then I was like, thinking about, I'm like, it probably had no other choice but to go this route.
Because it already
what
invaded.
happened. Yeah. I was like,
it already invaded the
happened,
real world.
Given what happened, it probably had no choice but to go this route. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. It's not so much like, a solo leveling or anything to that nature. Even though that's what people reading after. Speaking of that, sidetrack. What did you think of the first episode of Solo Leveling? Did you watch it?
I did watch it. I had my thoughts cemented just in case you asked me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're nervous. The reason I say it, because I watched with PJ Scribbles, I watched with another ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
They introduced so much in that first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were nervous that, like, don't worry, we're not going to forget. Like, they introduced Juju Island, they introduced Hunter Shea, was her name?
Yeah, Cha.
The Cha, yeah.
I say Cha, but it's probably not even pronounced that. But.
They did so much exposition with the president of the association. Like, it felt very, like, nervous for, like, don't worry, we got this. This character, they're in this episode too. Like, this character, they're here too. Like, we didn't forget them.
Well,
like, they yeah.
Funny thing about that is that's actually how the light novel starts off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've only read the comic, the manhwa.
Right. So I think that's where a lot of people who saw that, they was like, what the hell are they doing? Because everybody's nervous because of what happened with Noblesse, what happened with God of High School. Everybody's like, please don't fuck this up. Now you have one job. And even though Returners isn't really bad, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about Returners magic should be special. Nobody's even bringing that up.
I truly just started watching that today. I was like, this is an anime? They made this an anime?
Yeah, so I'm like,
I read this manhwa. It's an anime now too?
Right, and nobody's talking about it. But I think everybody's just so nervous about what happened with those series. They were like, please don't butcher solo leveling. Like, whatever you do not butcher this.
There's a lot riding on solo leveling.
It is a lot. But I think the way they did it was probably the best way. Because even when you go back and read Solo Leveling, you're like, okay, Jeju kind of popped out of nowhere. When you're reading it, it was like they mentioned it when it was getting close to that arc, but that was about it. And you're like, okay. But you never really knew what happened or like kind of anything that took place. And then I liked the introduction of what happens when you become a hunter. When you do your awakening, you get your certificate or whatever, your license, and then you go to this class and you watch the video. I'm like, I like that tidbit because it was like, okay, it's not just you're a hunter, that's it. Go on about your day, get recruited some kind of way or whatever the case.
Yeah. I do really like just them sitting down and it's a projector of the president, like, so you're a hunter now.
Yeah.
Like, I like the steps of that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been fine with an introduction to Juju Island, but it feels, what is it? If it's like a flash forward then a flash back, because it starts with like 3 years before and then it goes back to 3 years later.
Yeah.
Like, kind of thing. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah. I think they could have just did it with just showing it and then be like 3 years later, now that whole thing over with. But,
I thought they did that so they didn't do the entire, so they didn't do a good chunk of the double dungeon in the first episode. Like, we want to push that out to the second episode.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think other than like maybe feeling like a little like don't worry, a little not impatient, but like a little impatient. I think it was pretty good. I really liked it. Um because a lot of my problems with solo leveling happen later in the series
Yeah.
as compared to the beginning. Because like I don't care about like look, I don't care about what trope you use. Every trope has already been used before. I don't care.
Right.
But it's because here he has personality. Like here the main character has personality, and I hope he retains some personality as time goes on.
I think he should, given that they're using light novel stuff too, so it should
Yeah.
make it a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah, hearing that it's more light novel stuff now is very reassuring to me. As it's like that's good to hear that they're not just like here's this stuff and here's this stuff too and here's this stuff as well. Like I don't really get Hunter Cha. Like I didn't really understand why she was there. Like there was like she's here.
Oh yeah. Well, I think because they was talking about
We're talking about S-class hunters?
I forgot how they started it because they were talking about Choi, the leader of the Hunters Guild. He was like you know, when everybody was getting their hunter license and stuff, when the new hunters got their awakening, he was looking for people to recruit. And then, you know, he was asking, you know, who's there or any good ones, and he was like, well, no matter, they won't be as good as Cha.
Yeah.
And then
they cut through an entire scene of her.
Yeah, and then that's when they showed her.
Show her stop a motorcycle.
Yeah, because she was the last S rank awakened before Jin Woo. Spoiler alert.
Oh. Interesting. Well, I think everyone generally knows.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people who, you know, don't know, but you know.
Well, you know, it's their problem for clicking on a hardcore leveling warrior video. It has nothing to do with solo leveling.
It was not their fault. They had no idea this was going this way. They had no idea. But yeah, back to hardcore.
Back to hardcore. Sorry, guys. Back to hardcore.
You know, we sidetrack a lot.
That's fun. It's because it was brought up with the reverse isekai thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, I rolled my eyes a little bit when it was a reverse isekai, but like now looking at it, I'm like, no, it's good. I like that. I see that works well. Because I do think it adds more stakes to it, because it's not just a video game that you can respawn in. It's truly you're gonna die.
Right.
If you die, you're dead forever.
That's true.
It's permadeath. It's so funny that it's like it's permadeath now. I'm like, Earth has always been permadeath.
We're just gonna make it extra permadeath because now you have monster.
Very permadeath.
And everything else. Like, okay.
God, I don't understand. The second episode, it's the Python from the original Hardcore Leveling Warrior.
Yeah, it was like,
and I'm like, oh, okay.
You?
That's interesting.
And it was like, no, it's not me. I don't know who you're talking about.
Who are you? What do you mean?
And I like how every time we killed it, it's like, oh, well, I'm back. Kill it again. Oh, I'm back again. I'm like,
that's that.
Right. Just keep coming back. Okay.
God, it's so funny. When Octonash appeared, the boss of the dungeon they're doing with arms, and everyone's immediately like, dang, she's hot.
You too? I thought it was just me.
Everyone's like, she's real hot, and I was like, oh, okay.
I thought it was just me. Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone in this. All right.
Everyone just collectively agreed. What was I thinking? I find it's interesting that he has knowledge. It's both a reverse isekai and, you know, there's like kind of, it's also a regressor story technically, because he has knowledge of the future as well. Because he goes to a specific dungeon to get arms, a thing to heal her. But like other than I enjoy it, but I can't be like, these are the reasons I love it so much. These are the reasons why it's a peak series, because it's like it's very new.
Right.
And other than carrying the fact that I liked Hardcore Leveling Warrior and I assume it's gonna follow similar steps to it,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, I trust it. I can't be like, this is why it's the best webtoon out there.
Right.
I'm like, it's good. It's good. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I like Ethan so far
Mm-hmm.
because Ethan at the very beginning, or the second episode or whenever,
Mm-hmm.
is also shown to be like not who he was in Lucid Adventure.
Right.
Like he's shown to actually like, although he's a menace, he'll fight even if he's a level 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's also like shown because he hears his future self or something to like help him out against the zombie python or some nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And his future self's like, sacrifice the healer and run away, and he does it.
Right. I
I'm
was
like,
like, there's no way he's gonna sacrifice his girl. I was like,
Yeah,
there's no way he's gonna do that.
like it's interesting how different the two Ethans immediately are.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually do like that it's like it's showing that they're not the same person, even though currently now they kind of are very similar, and he has all the memories. They're not the same person,
Right.
which I think works out better than just him being the exact same person from the original Hardcore, because he was a menace.
He was an ass. Yeah, we can go ahead and say he was an ass.
He was a menace.
he was a whole ass, but it worked for him though. It worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked for him. Which is it's good that they're keeping some of that menace energy.
Mm-hmm.
In the new one, he flips someone off and slices them with his.
Yeah,
his
I was
middle
like,
finger.
that's what we're doing now. We're slicing people up with a middle finger. That I'm like, okay.
Which is quintessential hardcore leveling.
Right. I was like, I'm
Like,
fine
just
with it.
disrespect.
That I've never seen that done before, but okay, I'll go with it. I was like,
Man, it's wild. How many reverse isekais have come out, and yet this is the first time someone's cut a python zombie in half with their middle finger.
I have no idea, but as far as I know, this is the first. This is definitely the first. I have no idea other than that.
Well, I mean,
but I am definitely looking forward to more Earth Game and seeing where this goes and how he is going to bring this all together, along with X and Ash.
Along with X and Ash, yeah. I'm excited to see with X and Ash, because I think they have a lot. They have a lot set up in X and Ash, and I really hope they deliver on everything they set up, because I think if they do, it'd be great.
The crazy thing is, X and Ash can be so incredibly long.
There's a good chance it will be very long.
Like, it could be so long if they wanted it to, because like we're looking at 1,000 years before.
Yeah.
And it could be like they can make this war with the demons and all of that other stuff go on like forever.
Because here's the thing. I thought the same thing about Hardcore Leveling Warrior when it ended its first season.
Right.
Because no one thought when that came, no one thought that was the end of just the first season of Hardcore Leveling Warrior.
Right.
Everyone thought we were like close to the end. And then just to be like, nope, it's the end of the first season. They were like, how many seasons are there? And technically there were only 2 at the time. And then it ended and we're like, oh, there was only 2. I don't know why they did it like that. Because it felt very much like, oh, we got baited and switched. Because I was like, imagine there's like 3 or even 4 seasons. We're gonna be here forever. Because there's like what, 100 and something in the first season.
Yeah.
Let me check.
I mean, they really didn't kind of separate it. I mean, it was separated, but it ran together so well it kind of didn't really feel like 2 different seasons.
It didn't. The only reason it felt like 2 different seasons for me was because we got the like the name drop and then the little after the epilogue prologue parts between the 2 seasons.
But season 2 was really long though.
Season 2 was
well, I mean,
actually season 2 was
like
shorter.
135.
Yeah, actually,
including the epilogue.
yeah, basically.
And season 1 was
176.
yeah, so actually shorter. Oh damn.
It is shorter than that, yeah. But my thought is like, man, imagine we get 2 or 3 more seasons of Hardcore Leveling Warrior. We're getting like 150 in each season at least. And then at season 2, I was like, well, I thought we'd be here for a little longer.
So much for that.
So much for that.
But I guess if you look at how long the chapters are, you know, you
they're so long. Season 2's episodes were longer than season 1's episodes.
Yeah, I definitely figured that out. I'm like, Jesus.
They're much longer than season 1, so it does more balance it out. It's very funny in webtoon, like now webtoon series start with like longer episodes
and
shorter. Then as time they get shorter. But like a couple of years back, it was like they were shorter and then they'd like exponentially get longer and longer. And like the first episode was like 10 panels. How are we on like 60 on this episode?
Right. What's up, Quentin? How you doing? Shy OG Stoner said X and Ash is better.
How dare you? You know that's wrong. You know that's incorrect.
Hey,
give me a reason. Give me a reason, OG Stoner. Give me your paragraph.
I don't know. Some people might say X and Ash crawl so hardcore can walk. I mean, it is the prequel.
What? No, it didn't. That's not how that works.
It is the prequel.
It is the prequel, but it's the other way around. It came out first.
It did.
That's like saying Star Wars Episode 1 crawls. So Star Wars Episode 4 couldn't walk.
I mean, we think about it. Technically, people really started getting into Star Wars when they did the trilogy. Let's be honest. Nobody cared about all the other ones. Like they liked them, but then a lot of people really started because they were like, "Oh, I actually have a timeline. Oh my god! So now I can know what the hell they were talking about."
Yeah, that's the thing that was holding people back from enjoying Star Wars, the timeline.
It was like, okay, you released Episode 5, and now I got all these other episodes crazy. Like, okay. Give me a timeline so I can know what the hell going on.
Yeah.
But anything you want to say about Earth Game or X-Nas before we head on out?
Yo, Earth Game, it's worth it. It's do it. Read it right now.
Do it. Read it.
Go for it. Right now. Go enjoy it. Go enjoy it. Go watch all my Hardcore Leveling Warrior videos first, and then go into it because you need all that knowledge.
Yeah, you need all that knowledge.
All of it. You need all of it. It's required.
You know, one day we should do a timeline and try to figure out X and Ash, and then go through with Hardcore, and then go with Earth Game.
Man,
that's gonna be long
a timeline.
As hell.
Timeline sounds so long.
It sounds long, but it might not be that long if it's 2 people instead of 1.
Yeah.
We should try it one day. I don't know. It's gonna be rough.
It'll be rough.
It's gonna be insanely rough.
Oh boy.
But all right, that's it for this one. I hope all of y'all enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts about everything in the comment section below. Which series do you love more, X and Ash or Hardcore? Or do you just love both of them equally?
That's fair. Fair as well.
Yeah, but we all know everybody's real answer.
Yeah, Hardcore Leveling Warrior.
X and Ash, we already know. But Shy's YouTube channel and Twitter will be in the description, so you guys definitely go and sub to him and follow him on Twitter, and hopefully we'll get some time and do this again. Hopefully, probably, I guess, when the first season of Earth Game ends.
In 100 episodes. With 2 years, we'll be back.
We'll have to do it before then. We'll have to do it before then. All right, but catch everybody later. Peace.
Bye.